Hello everybody, I'll be reviewing a Battlarts show, the Yuta Yoshikawa retirement show. This is actually the first full Battlarts show I've seen, which is actually hard to believe. But most people who haven't heard, most wrestling fans haven't heard of Battlarts, and most fans who have never seen it. And it's from the 7th of February 2010. What I will say about it is I got it for £5 from Ichiban Pro Wrestling. If you want to get it as well after I'd done my review, or if you just want to look at the star ratings in the bottom and get it, go for it. Contact him. He'll tell you what to do. Yeah, and the quality for this, he said it was going to be good. It was fantastic in terms of video quality. The production values are like the same as you'd see on something you'd see on Samurai TV from Japan, one of the shows you'd see streamed, or you download off the internet or get from IVP. But the video quality itself, because it's a direct copy of the DVD, there's very little digital artifacting or signs of pixelation. It's very clear, and it's quite good. So yeah, and for those of you who don't like Japanese commentary, there is none, so some of you might like it. Battlarts, as I've said, is a smaller promotion. They run smaller shows, and because of that they have smaller cards and survive primarily on DVD sales. And so some of the guys on the card I'd heard of or I'd seen in a few matches, and or maybe I hadn't seen it at all. So this was something different, and I always like trying something different. The first match was Shuji Ishikawa, who I've seen in Big Japan and DET, but mostly Big Japan for the most part. And I never really figured him for a shoot-style wrestler, because this is a shoot-style promotion. I'd seen him kind of do that before, but I never expected to see him do it completely in a match with Takeshima. Bit of a tongue twister. This match was, well, there was like two moves, and it was like backdrop suplexes. But mostly it was just Shuji Ishikawa beating the shit out of Takeshima. Like, I mean, he was just wailing on him, punching him, smacking him, kicking him, dropping him on his head. At one point I thought he was just dead, and then the match is finished with like a sleeper hold, and I was like, holy fuck. But I mean, they really beat the shit out of each other. But really, I guess it was just quite brutal, and at times it got to the point where it was maybe a little bit uncomfortable, because I hadn't really seen too much Battlarts. I guess it's something more regular. I don't know. My hair looks ridiculous when it's short. But 2.5 stars for that. Next match is Yuki Ishikawa, versus Antonio Honda. Yuki Ishikawa I've seen a few times actually in, I believe, 01 and a few other promotions. I believe I might have seen him in DDT, versus Antonio Honda, who I have seen in DDT and seen him in a few other indies. Never really figured him for a shoot-style wrestler, but mostly I've just seen him in comedy matches. And in this wasn't really a comedy match. He didn't really do anything too humorous, but it seemed the crowd to get off on him being punished. Like, if he would go for a move and Yuki Ishikawa would turn it around and smack him, the crowd would laugh. It's like, this guy's getting the shit beaten out of him and you're laughing. This match was quite different from the last one. Sorry, I was going to sneeze. Quite different from the last one. Last one, when they were beating the shit out of each other, this one was more hold, counter hold, etc., etc. And having said that, it was a bit slower, but I probably enjoyed it a bit more because the crowd got into it a bit more. I guess it was because Antonio Honda just can't get any sympathy from the crowd, because when he gets beaten down, they find it amusing. And I mean, it was just bizarre. Maybe there's just something I'm missing, and I'd say there probably is. Or maybe he's just not very sympathetic. I don't know. Next match was Keita Yano, who I've seen a few times, and I mean, I couldn't take him seriously because of his suit. And in this match, I still couldn't take him seriously because of his suit. He's got, look, think of MVP's getup. Now, think of that on a guy who's like 150 pounds or something. It looks ridiculous. It's not loose or anything. It just makes him look like a skinny bitch, like he's a swimmer or something like that. Versus Yuki Sato, who was quite aggressive in this match, and it's really hard for me to get the image of him nearly getting raped by Shinobu out of my head. So some of you who follow Men's World or have seen lots of Big Japan will know what I'm talking about. But this match was actually, once again, quite different from the previous two. First one, you had a brutal beat down. The second one, you had hold and counter hold. This one, you still had the shoot style kicking and smacking and holds and stuff like that. But there was a bit more high flying thrown into there. A bit more lariats. A bit more of a conventional wrestling match, I'd say. Really. The last match I'll give 2 3/4 stars to, because I enjoyed it quite a bit. This match I'll give 3 stars, because even though it was short, it wasn't too short, but it was still a short match, but it was enjoyable. Yuki Sato, I'm a big fan of. Keita Yano, I hadn't seen much of, but now I'm a big fan of, because at the end of it, after watching him really wrestle on his own, because I'd mostly only seen him in tag matches, I kind of got into him as the match went on and thought, yeah, and started to buy into him a bit more. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the shit. So 3 stars for that. And now the main event, and I'm sure Ichiban Press is going to be ripping his hair out of his scalp again at the pronunciation of these names. We had, and you're probably thinking, wow, main event, the 4th match on the card. Yeah, it's the 4th match. There's only 4 matches on it. It's like a motion picture. It's only like an hour and a half long, trust me. But it works. It's good. I don't have to sit there for 3 hours going, oh, Jesus, another fucking undercard match. It's quite a good watch if you just want to watch something quick. But the main event is quite lengthy. So we had Ikuto, Hidaka, and Minoru Sawa, both of which I am familiar with from various indies. Ikuto, Hidaka, I see many times in 01 Max, versus Katsumi, Usuda, and Yuta Yoshikawa, who you might think, even though he's retiring, he might be quite old. He's not. He's actually quite young, but as Ichiban Press pointed out to me, he just doesn't get booked much. Obviously, he's thought, there's no future for me in this, but he put everything he had into this match, and it was really good. I mean, this was a tag shoot wrestling match, and I always thought they always seemed quite funny, but it was fucking brutal. I mean, they kicked the shit out of each other for like half an hour, non-stop. And it was great, because at the end of it, you had Yuta Yoshikawa, who is the person who's retiring, beating on all 3, even his tag partner. Obviously, I don't know if it was, just him being nuts. He doesn't seem nuts, really. Or him just saying, look, I can do this on my own, and being emotional because it's his last match and all that kind of stuff, and trying to prove he's still got it or something. But for whatever reason, it worked. The crowd went nuts for it, and he's just smacking these guys. Everyone's going berserk, because, once again, it is his last match. And it takes tons to get him leveled. And at one point, he even gets saved. He gets kicked, and you think he's going to be knocked out, but then, the guy buys him time by getting him back up. And continues the match, and eventually he gets killed by getting punched. I mean, he gets fucking punched out. That's bam, dead. And I mean, TKO. It's good to see TKOs in wrestling. I'll say that right now. But yeah, punched in the fucking face by, I believe, Minoru Sawa. Munenori Sawa. Sawa punched the shit out of him, basically. And then after the match was over and everyone was like, ooh, sad, streamer throwing mood, you had the wrestlers punch him, and then guys come out from the back and kick him in the head and smack him and all that kind of shit. And that was his send-off. I'm like, what a weird world we live in, where you send someone off by beating the shit out of them. But it was good. It was a good show. And for that match, I would definitely give 4.5 stars too, because that match was just fucking great. And for the show, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now, think about this for a minute. 7.5 for 4 matches. It loses points for not being a full show, just so you kind of know where I'm coming from, I guess. But 7.5 for a show with 4 matches on, that was a cat, is actually quite good. I hope that makes sense to you. I wouldn't give, you would have to have like 2 4-star matches, 4-star plus matches to get, an 8. But I'm just very hesitant to go that far with a match that had, for a show that had 4 matches on it. But I am trying to make the point that despite only having 4 matches, it is well worth watching. It is great. So yes, hope that was informative somehow. Good promotion from this show, and I'll definitely be checking out more stuff if the opportunity arises.